What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Southern Sorcery. Today, we are looking at another one of the Final Fantasy Precons, which got all revealed all today. And so we are going to run over the new cards for you guys and hit some talking points and see what's going on and what the deck wants to do. Maybe check out some of the reprints too. That's what we're going to do. So if you like this kind of content, help us out. Drop a like and a comment on the video. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you find it useful so you can stay up to date on our videos as they come out. These are not our Precon giveaway videos. We will be doing those later this week. Shane and I will be putting out a budget upgrade guide for these. In addition to that, we will give one of each of these away to a lucky winner in the comments. So check that out. Again, if you're interested in winning one of these, hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever those videos come out. And we will see you then and there. But for now, let's jump into this video. This one is the Counter Blitz Precon from Final Fantasy X. Each of the Precons is based on one of the games and some of the characters from those games. But this one is 10. And we are looking at Tidus, Yuna's Guardian. Very cool anime artwork for Tidus here, and Tidus is green, white, blue for a human warrior, and at the beginning of combat on your turn you can move a counter from a target creature you control onto a second target creature that you control. So this is going to be any kind of counter: indestructible, shield, flying, 1/1, etc. Any kind of counter, you can move it from one creature to another. And then it has a second ability here, Cheer. Whenever one or more creatures you control with counters on them deal combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and proliferate. Do this only once each turn. So what you would do is if you had a creature with, let's say, a flying counter on it, you would go ahead and go to combat. You would deal the combat damage and you proliferate that flying counter, so it'll have two flying counters, and then you can move the flying counter onto something else, then giving a second creature flying, or again +1/+1 counters, or indestructible counters, or there's all kinds of counters in Magic, and you can move any of them, which is pretty unique and pretty fun. And then the backup commander here is Yuna, Grand Summoner. Human Cleric has Grand Summon. Works out considering her name is Grand Summoner. Add 1 mana of any color when you cast a creature. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. So this is unique and interesting. And then the second ability says whenever another permanent you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, so any kind of counter, you may put that number of +1/+1 counters on a target creature. So this is also pretty unique card. I have not seen anything like this come in a Precon before. It looks pretty fun, and I've already seen some stuff about Yuna here to break her and go infinite pretty easily, so that seems like a pretty powerful commander. I don't know if it's CEDH viable, but that will remain to be seen. I'm sure someone, maybe you, will break this card. So let's look at the rest of the creatures. The new creatures here, we've got Auron, Venerated Guardian, 3 and a white, has Vigilance and Shooting Star. Whenever Auron attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it, and when you do, exile a target creature defending player controls with power less than Auron's power until Auron leaves the battlefield. So you can do that repeatedly, so you could essentially exile several things depending on how long Auron can stick around on the battlefield, but that seems pretty fun. We also have Chocobo Knights. These are humans riding around on chocobos, I suppose. 3 and a white for human knight. Whenever you attack creatures you control with counters on them, gain double strike until the end of turn. So paying off having counters on your stuff. That's pretty good. Gata and Luza has Flash. Whenever it enters, choose a target creature you control. If damage would be dealt to that creature this turn, prevent that damage and put that many 1/1 counters on it. So this deck looks like all about how to put counters, pay off counters. But not just +1/+1 counters. That's looking pretty unique and making this fun. 1 and a white for Lord Jiskel Guado. I'm going to be terrible with these names. Spirit Cleric has Flying. At the beginning of each end step, if you put a counter on a creature this turn, investigate. And investigate is a mechanic that says create a clue token, and then a clue token is an artifact that says pay 2, sacrifice this token, and draw cards. So it's just going to give you some artifacts that you can sacrifice them to draw cards later in the game. We also have a new card type in this set. This is Enchantment Creatures Sagas. So Saga Creatures. So that's new. I want to say these have counters on them. They have lore counters on them, and they'll go up as each chapter resolves, and one per turn. So that makes sense that these would be in here. The first chapter here is Arrow Spark. Exile a target creature an opponent controls until this saga leaves the battlefield. And then 2 and 3 are the same thing. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures you control, and you gain 2 life. Next, we have another saga creature. This is a samurai. The first chapter is exile target artifact, enchantment, or tapped creature an opponent controls. And then chapters 2 and 3 are the same until your next turn. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each of those creatures. So a little bit of pillow fort there, similar to like propaganda. And then the last one is create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of opponents who control a creature with 4 power or greater. So we can potentially draw some cards. And then we've got Lulu, Stern Guardian. 2 and a blue for a human wizard. Whenever an opponent attacks you, choose target creature attacking you and put a stun counter on that creature. So once the stun counter is there, if we use our commander to proliferate, we can keep the stun counters on those creatures, which is great. And then this card also has an ability that we can proliferate for 3 and a blue, and we can pay that as many times as we want and at instant speed. Next, we have Iwaka, Traveling Merchant, a human citizen, and you can tap it and remove a counter from a non-land permanent you control, and you can draw a card. So any kind of counter, remove it and draw a card. So removing counters can be really good. I would say this card will see some play outside of this Precon. Next, we have Riku, Resourceful Guardian, a human artificer. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a creature until the end of turn, that creature can't be blocked by creatures your opponents control. What? And then has Steal, pay 1 and tap him to move a counter from a target creature an opponent controls onto a target creature you control. Activate this only as a sorcery, so you can steal counters from your opponents. Pretty cool. We've got another enchantment creature saga. This is a Drake, Veil 4, and it is 4 and a blue, has flying. First chapter is Sonic Wings. Each opponent chooses a creature with the greatest mana value among creatures they control. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. And then chapters 2 through 4 are tap up to 1 target creature and put a stun counter on it. So we're definitely seeing some stun your opponent's sub theme here. Next, we have Maester Seymour. This is a human elf cleric. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a number of 1/1 counters equal to Maester Seymour's power on another target creature you control, and then you can pay 3 and 2 green and make this creature monstrous. So Monstrosity is a mechanic. So Monstrosity X, where X is the number of counters among creatures you control. So for 5 mana, you'll put X counters on this creature, where X is the number of counters you control. That's crazy. You could have 50 counters easily in this deck. That's nuts. Next, we've got another enchantment creature saga. This one's a fairy, Mega Sisters, and then you choose at random for chapters 1, 2, and 3. You choose at random, so 1 at random each time. The first one is Combined Power. Put 3 1/1 counters on a target creature. The second one is Defense. Put a shield counter on a target creature and you gain 3 life. And the third one is Fight. This creature fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. It's a 5/5, so you could probably get rid of something for sure. Next, we've got Tremel, Seymour's Butler. 2 and a green for an elf advisor. Each other non-token creature you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. And then you can pay 1 and tap it and proliferate X times, where X is the number of non-token creatures you control that entered this turn. So that could potentially be quite a bit of proliferation. We've also got Kimari, Valiant Guardian. 2 and Simic. Simic means green and blue, that color combination. Has Vigilance. It's a cat warrior. Ronzo Rage. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Kimara and tap target creature an opponent controls. Then you may have Kimara become a copy of that creature, except it keeps the name Kimara and has Vigilance and this ability, so you can keep changing it. That's pretty good. We've also got Shalinda, Yvonne Acolyte. Green-white for a human cleric with lifelink. Whenever another creature you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature if its power is less than Shalinda's power. Otherwise, put a 1/1 counter on Shalinda. So you're getting counters either way. You're either putting them on those creatures or you're putting them on this creature. Next, we have Sin Unending Cataclysm. This is a Leviathan avatar. It is 5 in Simic, has flying and trample. I'm not sure why sea creatures have flying ever, but you know what? I'll take it all day long. It's a 5/5. As it enters, remove all counters from any number of artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Sin enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is twice the number of counters removed this way. Good grief. When Sin dies, put its counters on target creature you control, then shuffle this card in its owner's library. That's wild to me. Again, we're going to have so many counters. We can proliferate. You could literally put 50 counters on Sin and make it... You get twice that many. So you could put 100 +1/+1 counters on Sin. That's bonkers. Wow. Next up, we have Waka, Devoted Guardian. 2 green-white. For a human warrior, has reach and trample. That's really good. Whenever Waka deals combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target artifact that player controls and put a 1/1 counter on him. Then it has Blitz Ball Captain, so some sort of island sport here, it looks like. At the beginning of your end step, if a counter was put on Waka this turn, put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. These counters are going absolutely crazy, guys. We've also got Luminous Broodmoth as a reprint, Scholar of New Horizons, Sunscorched Regent, Chasm Skulker, Bane of Progress. That's a pretty good one. Forgotten Ancient, Generous Patron. I think that one's pretty good too. Gyre Sage, Incubation Druid, Rampant Rejuvenator, Tireless Tracker, Altered Ego, Fathom Mage, Walking Ballista. Someone is going to probably find a way for Walking Ballista to like go infinite in this deck. Grateful Apparition, Dusk Shell Crawler. I'll scour the deck and see if there's a way to go infinite with this Walking Ballista here. Under Instance, we have a couple of new cards. One Protection Magic, 1 and a white. Put a shield counter on each of up to 3 target creatures. Yuna's Whistle, 1 green. For an instant, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into your hand and the rest goes on the bottom of your library in a random order. When you reveal a creature card this way, put X/1/1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the mana value of that card. So what I'm hearing is a Branching Evolution definitely needs to go into this deck. Yeah, then we've got some new enchantments. Let's see, what do we got? We've got... Is that new? Summoner's Sending? Yep. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature card from a graveyard. If you do, make a white spirit, a 1/1. With flying, put a 1/1 counter on it if the exiled card's mana value is 4 or greater. Yep. And then Sphere Grid is also new. It is 1 and a green. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Then it has Unlock ability. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have reach and trample. God, Sphere Grid. That's going to be good. That's going to go in a ton of decks. Giving creatures with counters on them trample is going to be a finisher for sure. Under artifacts, we have Blitzball Stadium. When this artifact enters, support X, and it says support means put a 1/1 counter on it. So put a counter on up to X target creatures, and then go for the goal 3 and tap it until the end of turn. Target creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. Draw a card for each kind of counter on it. And it can't be blocked this turn. That's fun. That seems very fun. Under sorceries, we've got Yuna's Decision, 3 and a green. You choose one. Continue the pilgrimage. Sacrifice a creature. If you do, draw a card. Then you may put a creature card and or land card from your hand onto the battlefield so you can cheat something out. And then the other one is Find Another Way. Return 1 or 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. So whichever makes more sense for you to do in that. And then nothing really insane here in the lands. We've just got a very budget land base here. So that rounds out this deck. What do you guys think? This looks super fun to me. I'm glad it's not just +1/+1 counters. When I first saw counters, I thought, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, 1/1 counters. This seems much more fun than that. We got that everything counter Simic Commander last year in Modern Horizons 3, so I think there could be definitely some cards in here that could go in with each other. That seems like a pretty fun way to upgrade this. But yeah, I think this looks really fun. This looks potentially pretty powerful. But yeah, we'll see what becomes of it. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Again, like and subscribe if you found this video helpful and informative, and check back this week as we're going to be giving all these precons away for free. We will ship them anywhere in the world, or we'll compensate you if the shipping is just astronomical or something like that. We'll just give you a gift card or something, and that way you can get it in your own country. So anyway, ring that notification bell so you know when those videos come out, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!